Cinema was once a promise. It was a promise of a journey into someone else's life, a window into a world you had never seen. You would sit in a dark hall, a stranger among strangers, and for 3 hours you would share a collective dream. You would feel empathy for characters who did not look like you, speak your language, or pray to your god. This was the magic of cinema. This promise seems to be fading now, like an old photograph left out in the sun. The purpose of storytelling is slowly being twisted. Instead of holding a mirror to society, many films today are being crafted to hold a loudspeaker for a specific ideology. They are no longer about exploring the complexities of human relationships or the struggles of the common person. Today's Indian films aren't about stories anymore. They're about messages. A new genre of Indian cinema is emerging, closely aligned with the ideology of the RSS and its affiliates. Today we're going to look at different aspects of these propaganda films and how they are shaping our societies. Chapter 1. Hate Farming. A central theme in this new wave of cinema is the portrayal of the Hindu community as perpetual victims. For example, ask yourself, what is common between the Kashmir Files, the Kerala Story, Chhaava, and Samrat Prithviraj? They all show the same thing. Hindus are suffering. This is the classic us versus them binary narrative. In these films, us represents the noble, tolerant, and perpetually wronged Hindu, while them is the cruel, deceptive, and aggressive Muslim. Their primary purpose is not to entertain or to enlighten, but to normalize this particular worldview. When you see a pregnant Hindu girl getting raped by a Muslim in Kerala Story, what are you supposed to feel? When Hindu emperor gets tortured continuously by the Muslim invader in Chhaava, do you feel angry? These movies turn cinema halls into echo chambers of rage where fear and resentment are applauded as patriotism. And in this carefully constructed narrative, facts don't matter, only the myth of victimhood does. These are not just movies, they are carefully constructed propaganda tools to create outrage. Every scream, every tear, and every moment of fear you feel is a guaranteed ticket. In the end, your anger becomes their biggest payday. Now beyond manufacturing victimhood, these films often twist or ignore facts and complexities, simplifying history and reality to fit their one-sided narrative. This brings me to my second chapter, Fact versus Fiction. They claim to be uncovering hidden truths that the mainstream media and academia have supposedly suppressed for decades. When in reality these films rely heavily on selective storytelling, twisting or ignoring facts, erasing complexities and simplifying messy realities into neat, one-sided myths. Take the Kerala Story for example. The film sensationally claims that 32,000 women from Kerala were brainwashed and converted by Muslims to join ISIS in Syria. The reality? The actual number is closer to a handful, statistically less than 0.2% of Kerala women. But the film doesn't care about nuance. It doesn't explore the real complexities of radicalization, grooming, or human vulnerability. Instead, it inflates a fringe tragedy into a statewide epidemic, presenting a baseless statistic as if it were a shocking revelation. When I watched this film in Bangalore, the end credits carried a message: let's save Kerala women. For me, as someone from Kerala, it felt like a direct insult. My state, known for its literacy, secular traditions, and progressive values, was reduced to a caricature, a lie, dressed up as cinema. Now let's move on to the film Chhaava. Here, the villain is Aurangzeb, the Mughal emperor. The film frames him as a one-note, cartoonish Muslim tyrant obsessed with destroying the Hindu hero and his dynasty. His entire gang is filled only with Muslims, as if Aurangzeb's empire had no Hindus serving in its massive bureaucracy or army. And the climax? Pure comedy. The film shows Aurangzeb killing himself out of despair because he didn't have a son like the Hindu hero. But here's the reality. Aurangzeb didn't die by suicide. He died in 1707, at the age of 88, after a long illness. Historically, he was a deeply controversial figure, yes, orthodox and repressive in many ways, but he also ruled for nearly 50 years, had a multi-ethnic army, and presided over one of the largest empires in the world. Reducing all of that history into a cartoon where the Muslim emperor is evil, the Hindu king is pure, isn't just lazy storytelling, it's propaganda disguised as cinema. Chapter 3. New Kind of Hero. In this cinematic universe we are discussing, the very nature of the hero has undergone a fundamental transformation. Once upon a time, heroes in Indian cinema were defined by their moral dilemmas, human flaws, and their ability to unite people across divides. They could be rebels, lovers, dreamers, or even ordinary citizens rising against injustice. But now, the hero is no longer just an individual. He is recast as the embodiment of an entire religion, an avatar of cultural pride, and a warrior defending a singular idea of the nation. His strength comes not from empathy or struggle, but from his faith and his alignment with a rigid ideology. Take, for example, a film like Ram Setu. The protagonist, an archaeologist, begins as a man of science and an atheist, but his journey is not one of scientific discovery, it is one of religious conversion. He finds the answers he seeks not in evidence or data, but in faith. The film systematically dismantles the authority of science and reason, suggesting that they are inadequate, even flawed, when confronted with the truth of religious scripture. The message is clear: science bends, but faith triumphs. This transformation is not limited to overtly religious propaganda films, it seeps even into mainstream masala cinema. Consider RRR, one of the most popular Indian films globally, even winning an Oscar. By the climax, the hero literally transforms into a figure resembling Lord Ram, with saffron flags fluttering in the background as he battles the British. A patriotic, anti-colonial story is thus fused with religious iconography, equating India's independence and strength with Hindu mythology. What we are witnessing is not just the rise of new heroes, but the manufacturing of a new mythology, where cinema stops reflecting human complexity and starts echoing political propaganda. The hero no longer belongs to everyone, he belongs to one faith, one community, one version of the nation. And if the hero himself becomes religion, then those outside that religion by default become the villains. So, we stand at a crossroads. The path that a significant section of Indian cinema is currently treading is a dangerous one. It is a path that leads away from empathy and towards animosity, away from nuance and towards dogma, away from unity and towards division. At the end of the day, the choice is ours. We can either reject this cinema of hate or silently enable it, because if we don't draw the line now, don't be surprised when one day a film celebrates Godse as the true patriot and paints Gandhi as the traitor, and by then, it won't just be cinema that's lost, it'll be us. So, let us once again seek out the stories that connect us, that remind us of our shared vulnerabilities and our common hopes. For it is only through empathy, nuance, and critical thinking that we can hope to build a better, more inclusive world, both on screen and off.